So, hey everybody, since I didn't do Words with Ori's last week, you're getting a twofer this week. The video I didn't put up last week and this one. I really want to go back and talk about the ego again. And the reason why, I know you saw in the video about you being perfect. I showed you on the side of that video how will the I, which is you, your will and your action, all connect to the ego. And when people, and nowadays, stop messing with the dog, baby. Nowadays, when people talk about the ego, it's like how the church talked about the devil. Oh, that's just his ego. Like saying, oh, that's just his demons. Or that's just his ego is not the problem. Ego is nothing more than action. Actions come from desires or intentions or thoughts. So basically, your ego would be the soldier. Okay, can you wait a few minutes? I'm talking, okay? Thank you. So your ego would be the soldier. And with your ego being a soldier, then somebody has to direct their soldiers. Someone's the sergeant. Someone's the president giving orders. So when you look at your ego, look at it in that. Yes, your ego has to be strong because it has to carry out what every order has to give. And when people say your ego is the enemy, basically you're saying your own actions are your enemy. When it's not your actions, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts may be your enemy, especially if your thoughts are not your own. And a lot of people's thoughts really aren't their own. They think it's their own, but it's really not. It's something they heard over and over and over again. And because they heard it over and over and over again, now it's in their logical mind, because the logical mind likes patterns and repetition, and it gives a disconnect from them and their spirit. So when dealing with that with the ego, it's not the devil. It's your action. Every time you say, oh, you need to shut down the ego, or I need to control my ego, you're saying I need to control my actions. You don't need to control your actions, you need to control your thoughts. You're still working backwards. If you control your thoughts, you already got your actions lined up in a direction where you want your desires to manifest. Because a lot of times we have desires, but our actions will do something different, because our actions, our ego is connected to our logical mind, and it's our logical mind that figures out how things are to get done practically. Spirit says do this. Spirit says we have this desire, do this. The logical mind figures out how to get it done. The ego carries it out and gets it done, to make it very simple. But when you're not connected to spirit and you have the desire, but your logical mind is saying, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, your ego is going to act out what the logical mind is telling you, and that's where you get the disconnect, where your actions are betraying you. But it's really not your actions, it's just two different sides of thought patterns in your mind. So again, the ego is not the problem. Everybody needs an ego. It's like the Beyonce song, I got a huge ego. How do you think she got to where she's at without her ego? Her actions. How do you think Jay-Z, the president, people in the occult, Doreen Virtues, Till Scott, Bashar, that came from lining up their logical mind with their spiritual mind, which caused their actions to do what needs to be done for them to get to where they're at. Oprah Winfrey, who else? Ayana Vanguard, who I've been loving her a lot. I can see her face. I can't think of her name. I've been watching her a lot too lately, and I cannot think of her name. But whatever. It's another story. Your ego is there to perform the actions that the logical mind tells it to do based on the desires that you have. Once you get your logical mind lined up with your spirit body, and they come into agreement without any interaction or anything from outside world, then your ego will no longer be a problem, because all the ego does is what it's told to do. So if you're saying, hey, I want to buy this house, but you're saying, oh, but I need to check my ego to make sure I need to check my ego. I need to control my ego. You're weakening your will. You're weakening your action that you need to take to buy this house. Think about it. Think about how many times you blamed your ego, this, and that. Think about the situations that you're in now that you don't want to be in. And think about how you seem to just not have the energy to do what it is that you want to do. You need to build up your will. You need to build up your ego. This is something the left-hand path does, and that's why most of the left-hand path people seem all cocky and self-centered and all that. It's because we understand that we can get nothing without the ego, and our ego is the action. So we put a lot of emphasis or building up the energy for our action, so when we get ready to do something, there's nothing that can come in between what we're trying to do. Make sense? Okay. So, rude? Just rude. We're not doing that. But, I'm sorry, the boys are for that. We had, like I said, we had a crazy week, and they was up at like 4:30 in the morning, but y'all need to know all that. But I'm playing that now, so they in the background, so I'm about to shut down this video. But hopefully you now have a better idea of how to work with your ego, how to nourish and cherish your ego, and understand that the ego is the party that's just saying, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. Just tell me. That's all the ego does. Tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. It doesn't have its own personality. It doesn't have its own emotions. That's not the ego. The personality and emotions come with the mind. The ego is just the action. It's the ego that's moving my arms. It's the ego that's moving my legs. But the synapses and the messages are coming from my brain to that part to get me to do what I need to do. Hope that made sense. Don't want to make this video too long because it's really get repetitious because I can't say it enough times. Okay? Build up your ego. Stop downing your ego. Stop demonizing your ego. Build it up and watch your life change. Build it up and watch how you have the strength to tell people no that you need to say no to, and the strength to say yes to yourself when you need to say yes to yourself. Build it up and watch how when you felt as though you didn't have no time to do something and you were too tired to do something, all of a sudden now you got energy and you done found the time to do what you need to do to manifest what you want to manifest. Build up your ego. That is your will. That is your action. That is the I. That is the active force in your life. That masculine active force in your life that gets the things done. All right, with that, I'm going to shut it down. Everybody stay blessed. Peace.